Cool. All right, we are here at round number 1, kind of. There it is. I was kind of prepared for this. We have Magellan, which did get a top 16 finish this weekend, versus Lucci, which also got, I think every event that happened in the last weekend, it got at least one spot in there.
Yeah, I mean, Magellan, too, it's an interesting play right now with all the Whitebeard dominance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think it has like a really good matchup in a Whitebeard. And, I mean, if you curve out and you see those Magellans, it's definitely to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, have a little bit of issue against aggro, but I think even like the last 2 weeks, Zoro's kind of faded a little bit compared to just how strong it's been for Whitebeard.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Zoro is like you have to kind of see perfect against Whitebeard, I feel like,
mm-hmm.
or you have to like just kind of out tempo them, and it's something that they struggle with sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, right here, the Magellan player is already off to a good start. Got the Searcher, got the great event that can reduce 2 characters by 3k. And I know you're a big fan of Rob Lucci.
I am. I mean, it comes with the zip code I'm in right now. There's a lot of good Rob Lucci players in this area. They've really turned me on to the deck, and it's really, really good tempo if you see it. And unfortunately, going first is not the tempo you really want, though.
Yeah. I mean, and that was smart, right, for them to put Rob Lucci on that, because it's just not good for your curve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, which is a little bit weird because Magellan traditionally wants to go first, but I think it going second is better than, Lucci going, or Magellan going first and Lucci going second is worse for it compared to Magellan going second and Lucci going first.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I will say, though, I really like what Jose did here with throwing down the Tashigi.
Mm-hmm.
Very aggressive play, not holding that 2K.
Yeah, and it can get some value if you have like some specific popping. Like I don't think there are any CP9s in there, but if there were, you could use it to get like that 4-drop Mino Zebra into range for like a Kaku play.
Yeah.
And that Mino Zebra. Let's see if.
And that's the character with Banish, I believe. I'm trying to look at it.
Yeah, I believe it is. I'm bringing it up for the. Let's see, Mino. There it is.
Pretty sure with 1 Dawn it gains Banish.
No, you don't even need Dawn. You just got.
You don't even need Dawn.
You get Banish for free, baby.
Nothing like value. And then we see the Kuzan come down on the Lucci side. Very strong play this early in the game. When you can play that down.
Yeah, being able to use that to, get things in. I mean, obviously Tashigi gets that as well, but the issue is that like Magellan usually doesn't have like a lot of tall end. It has like that kind of mid to tall end, right?
Yeah. And our Magellan player here, he's obviously a big fan.
Yeah. He's the play mat. I mean, you got the sleeves that go with it, and I would say that both the Dawn sleeves and the main deck sleeves are in there as well. So, but we see the King gets played, which gets rid of the Kuzan, and then gives the boost on the Magellan off its Dawn -1 effect. See, also, I didn't see this. Orange Samurai, hello. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to seeing you in Pasadena this weekend. Safe travels. And also, I know you're in Florida, so I hope everything's okay for you as well.
He's holding it down at Disney World. It'll be fun.
Yeah. If Disneyland closes, then we're in trouble.
That's right.
Then there's something serious going on.
All right, we see the Sakazuki come down, getting rid of the King.
Very
good tempo play here by the Rob Lucci player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sakazuki hits 5 or less, so the Tashigi did help you get into range, which is really nice, because that King is a 6 cost.
And that's like one of the best things I like to see someone do is like as we mentioned, Rob Lucci is not wanting to go first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to make that a plus in this situation by putting that Tashigi down on curve.
Yeah, and something that, like, it's the math is kind of weird, but like this Mino Zebra is attacking into Tashigi, and then you're using that on the same side. Like if you would have just countered it to get out of a 5k swing, it's the same thing. So being able to get like the board advantage and some additional value from there is using it, I think, the best, because I don't think there's anything else they would have used that 3 Dawn for that turn.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what else they would have used there, except maybe if they had a couple searchers in hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is. It doesn't look like this is the CP9 build at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine they would have just played the Navy Searcher. But I really like the Tashigi play. It's more aggressive.
Oh, and we see our first Magellan hit the board. This is pretty much like the turn you have to start playing it, because once they're at full Dawn, it doesn't really, it's not.
Value.
Yeah, it's not as impactful. So, I think that's important for you there.
Now, what's interesting is, and I'm sure the Magellan player knows what he's doing with that playmat and with his experience with this deck. But it would be interesting to know if he chose the King over the Magellan the previous turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, because, again, like, the earlier play the Magellan, usually the stronger it is.
Correct.
And if they would have, Sakazuki the Magellan instead, then they would be, losing a card in hand and 2 of their Dawn, which just sets them back an entire turn and a half with the -1 already.
We see the Isho come down. Great card.
Oh, and they did have the 6.
Yeah.
Which is honestly kind of rare for Magellan to have that many cards in hand, but we'll take those.
Ooh, a 2K and an event. That's big time.
Yeah, that is very good. Which event was it? The Hellish Judgment?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that negs 3K to 2 characters.
Yeah. Well, characters are leaders, but yeah.
Yeah, character or leader. Yep.
Yeah, and obviously they probably left those 2 Dawn open to use that card, so
yeah, I'm sure he did.
a little unfortunate there.
Maybe he has another one, because it would put the Sakazuki out of reach as well.
Yeah, that would be a perfect block for this exact swing right here.
Nope, doesn't have it. Oh man.
Yeah. But the Mino Zebra does have the on KO. You do get a Dawn back, so that helps. And I think we're about even, I think, on resources in general right now, but this is where usually Rob Lucci has a better late game comparatively.
Yeah.
And which, that's exactly why, like, Magellan is so good at, if they are able to delay your late game, it gets more advantage for it, but let's see. And it looks like they have 9 Dawn to work with right now. Starter Kaido would be pretty good, I think. Because that could get rid of the Sakazuki and then pressure a leader with a swing as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, I know a few Magellan players, and I know the builds vary. Some people run that card at a higher amount than others, and I don't know his text exactly. I'd have to look at his list. But you're at a point right here where you kind of need to regain tempo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rob Lucci player has really taken over as far as tempo goes.
Yeah. We got a Queen, though. Queen's pretty strong. Drawing a card and getting a blocker is nice.
And even, like, just getting rid of some cards that might not have value anymore that are just sitting in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, again, I don't think, like, you'd want to hit the board with Magellan anymore, because it's really not doing anything.
And plus, I would still want to be a little comfortable and be under 6 if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Because just a late game E-show, if your hand creeps back up to 7 or 8, could be really dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it hasn't been often, but, like, when I'm able to resolve 2 E-shows, I mean, it's usually against Newgate players, but being able to resolve 2 in one game, it feels so good. Discard 4? Oh,
yeah.
So good.
I mean, that's just so much value.
Let's see. And then we're playing the Mino Rhinoceros, which is one of the newer ones. Being able to, it's a 3 cost, it's a 5k. It doesn't have counter, but on KO you do get to cycle as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I believe it's the Queen effect, right?
Yes, on KO instead of on play. Let's see. Yeah, and in the question chat, what do you think? What do I think that Lucci is rough against? I think early aggression can stop you a lot of the time, and if you're not able to establish that tempo, like two of the 10-drop moms are pretty viable to see on the other side of the board if you're not careful.
Yeah, I definitely think Katakuri is probably its worst matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting too is before that restriction list, I would say Rob Lucci probably beat Whitebeard 80% of the time.
Yeah, because it really invalidates having a single blocker, right?
Right. And now with the current Whitebeard list, it's like, man, that matchup kind of got like an either or, and it's like, I'd still give the advantage to Rob Lucci, but it's really interesting how the restriction list made it a stronger matchup into Rob Lucci.
Yeah.
Than it was before.
I can't tell you how many games I'm watching them. They're playing their cards. They're getting it like, they're doing all these swings. I'm surviving. I'm like, okay, cool. I can get it next turn. And they say, okay, Chopper, Fossa, pass turn. I'm like, I lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Just then, like, if you had one blocker, I'd be in business. Two blockers, that's too much, man.
Yeah, somehow it's weird. It feels like Whitebeard got better with the restriction list.
It sure does. I think people were forced to play the best version of it, so there's less of the suboptimal but risky one, right?
Yeah. And I think we're seeing, like right now, even as people cut like blocker Marco out, that it's just like, if I can get the cheaper blocker out there and leave more Don up, it's just more advantageous, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well.
Oh man, this Rob Lucci player just has so much going for them.
Yeah, this is usually like the board state that I like. Establishing that having 3 or 4 bodies that are like 6k or more, like I know there's the 5k Kuzan, but just saying each one of these is gonna require at least a 2k of hand, and it's gonna be very, very tough for some defense to be set up to not just lose next turn as our Magellan player, I feel like.
So hear me out.
Okay.
Do you not just kind of go 7 and then put the rest on Magellan and go for game here?
You can totally do that.
Only has three cards in hand.
Yeah.
And I don't see you surviving.
I agree that that is a definite possibility, especially since you can, one blocker does nothing against this board, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do 7-7-8 here.
And, Lucci does get greedy with hands, but, like, at the same time, since you use cards like Sakazuki and everything else to get rid of the kind of worst cards, okay.
Okay, he's playing king. I assume he's popping the Kuzan. Oh, really? Wow. The Kuzan, yep. Kuzan's gone.
Yeah, because you can Kakuzan in range. It's 4 or less.
Yeah, but I just feel like now that Rob Lucci leader effect is now in range 2, you can KO an easy...
yes, because I don't think this blocker's doing anything. I think I would rather leave the 2 open and pretend I have Hell's Judgment than have this blocker out, because that's just a liability now. Because even there's a chance that you get it off your life and then you can use it. Blockers, they just make their leader like a 9k, attack with it first to make sure that it can always get the restain if you block immediately, and go from there. But you do have 4 in hand.
Honestly, I think I might have pushed game there, to be honest with you. Maybe that's really the Whitebeard player in me.
Yeah,
right?
I think you would have lost based on cards that we've seen in hand, but I understand the sentiment.
I just try to look at, where is your best possible win con?
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think he has a chance this way, unfortunately.
Again, if he had Hell's Judgment, which you can, like, Hell's Judgment against Lucci is super strong because they like to swing twice, so it's like a -6 on them. But looks, I don't know. You definitely start with your Lucci swing though, because if you block here, then you don't get the restand anymore.
Right. And the 2K's been used. The Lucci player's really not being that aggressive right now. Just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think they can afford to. And again, if you end up playing the block, you just block with it immediately, because otherwise they get that full value off of it.
Yep, and here we go.
Yeah, now you're in trouble. All right, they discarding 2? Because now you got to get out of like a 10k attack and like a 12k attack, something like that. Those are just numbers I threw out, but
I think they're pretty close numbers. Yeah.
right,
I mean,
so,
he has like what, 4 cards in hand? It looks like.
yeah. So I mean, if they're all 2Ks, you're living. And only 1 card in hand, so that's a little dangerous. I mean, if you don't win this turn, you are donezo. Okay.
He takes a life.
All right, and then 9 plus 6, this is probably like, or plus 5, this is 14K. Yeah, not getting there.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
I can't immediately see what I mean. 1 king, 1 blocker, that's a 1K. And 2 pages, so you had 3K and 1 other card that might have been some counter. But,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's tough to see actually. But yeah, I mean, this game really came down to tempo, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the Rob Lucci player was able with the Sakazuki, with the Kaku, with even the hand removal. That turn was huge.
Agreed. And I would have liked, I mean, the other thing is Isho sniping out the Hell's Judgment from hand was very strong as well. I think that was an important hit from it. But I think both players could have played that last turn a little bit more optimally. I think Jose, if they were going to use leader effect, they should have swung with leader first. And then I think that, Bilal should have recognized that the punish for them, not swinging with leader first was to block first. So they'd have to spend more Dawn to get that restand as well.
Yeah.
And as well, I think if you leave 2 Dawn open, even if you don't have Hell's Judgment in hand, it gives you the opportunity for your opponent to be afraid and play around it and do the numbers wrong too.
Well, then also, I mean, hell, it could be in your life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Hell's Judgment could be sitting right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you have to play for the hope there, and it did not.
We see a 1K was his last life.
Yeah. So. And then another Kaku instead. So 2K in hand, but that was it. So, well, that was that game. Let's give us just a second. We're going to jump into another game. All right. We are here at table...
Doffy right now. We saw it win at Gen Con.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Doffy's in a good spot. People can call me out if they think I'm lying. I've always liked blue. And I've just had a hard time feeling confident in playing blue in a tournament setting.
Sure,
and
understandably.
But with Seth, I mean, it's funny. It's literally just 1 card, but blue's just really good next set because it has red rock, right? It's wild how good 1 card can make such an impact.
Well, Doffy was the first deck I ever played in One Piece. It was my favorite deck. I played it till I could until I ran into 8-kid walls everywhere, and then I was like, this deck just can't get around 8-drop kit.
Yeah. 100% true. And now you can just pay 6 and get rid of their 8 cost card. Like that's how does that feel? Like super good, right?
Yeah, I mean it's instantly gone. There's nothing that searches from the bottom yet in this game. Like it's that you can count on that 1 copy pretty much being in a graveyard. I mean it's the same right now. So
yeah,
blue needed that card. Blue really needed that card. Some people worry about power creep in card games. That was a card that's very powerful that blue very much needed.
Yeah. And I'm just getting these names. So we got Carlos Meza here on Nami versus Doffy. And the Doffy player's name is Robert. Robert on the Doffy. And I think you got to be careful in this matchup because Nami doesn't have like sometimes efficient removal. And if they're able to play, if they're able to get their Doffy train off, which again, they went first and they played Perona turn 1. That's a huge advantage for Doffy right off the bat.
So we are already looking at this, and it's looking like this could be pretty much the same list that won overseas a couple weeks ago. It won a huge tournament, and that list would just be the switching out of 2 cards of 2 2Ks. That's the only difference from Nami now and Nami next set.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if it runs particularly like that list.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine. Shout out to Rohit. He's a super good Dragon Ball Super player. He's topped nationals 2 years in a row with a weird deck that no one else plays. He's fantastic with it. He played Nami. He went X2 this weekend. He was X1 going to the final round. and wasn't able to. He said all 4 of his Kayas are at the bottom of his deck, so he couldn't get there. But I was like, man, top 16, you can do it. And he got, I think, 30th place, but yeah, very, very strong card game player.
And that's my thing with Nami, right? Like, it kind of can give you that one law game, right, where you just kind of brick.
Yeah. All right, we're playing.
Okay, he just showed the wrong card at first.
Yeah. Man, imagine if overheat, you could also just pay 2 to bounce something back.
Yeah. It was the crossfire of blue.
Yeah.
Your turn or opponent's.
But yeah, I have you. How much testing have you been doing for OP04?
Not too much. In the sense that really all I've jammed is Nami.
Fair. I mean, which again, do you add the red rock into that deck?
I added one of course, right? But I put only one in there because I feel like it's one of those cards where if you see it, you can really make use of it, but you never want to see more than one.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and it could be another good trigger in your life as well. But
right.
I've been playing a good amount of Queen. Queen's been a favorite of mine for the new one for. Yeah, I guess the only one. But yeah, it's
very grindy deck. Very,
very grindy. But just saying, like Mihawk and then bottom deck with the red rock and just everything else. But I think we started this conversation like 10 minutes ago. But I think the conclusion is that I think Crocodile is in a really good spot because of the blue stuff, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I think all blue decks really just got a significant boost next set, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, because blue has great card design. It's just there was this wall in 8-drop Kid that really just prevented it from going any further.
Yeah.
You needed something like at Gen Con, which is just a run where you see the right things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm blanking. I might be wrong, but we won't. Our first blue and black leader is an OP05, right? With Sakazuki.
Blue and black. Yeah, I think so.
And blue would greatly appreciate being able to do some cost reduction on all of its effects, and it just doesn't get them.
Yeah.
So being able to like have that combo, and I haven't seen the Sakazuki. Oh, Rebecca, also Rebecca. That's right. But like that's kind of its own thing, right? You're not playing as much.
Yeah, you're playing Dressrosa.
Yeah. I definitely had a brain fart though. You guys can call me out on it. I knew like as soon as I was saying like, I know I'm missing something. It's the same as like
that deck plays like 4 blue cards. Though.
Yeah, and they're all red rock. Yeah, my bad.
Or Kaya or something,
Yeah, and Kaya is just okay because you get cycle already. Listen, I've been streaming all day. I get one.
This Nami player is being super efficient so far, though. And I love the attaching with Nami and attacking into characters, thinning out the Doffy player's hand while still leaving 3 down up. And so far, I've been pretty lucky on their discards off the top of their deck. We see an All-Star. We saw a Death Link. So far, off to a good start for this Nami player.
Yeah, and the one thing that I kind of was worried about going into this match, and it's starting to be a little bit true, is that what is, if you want to beat Nami, what's the way to do it in your mind?
I think you have to go super wide and jam. Like, you have to remove the cards out of the Nami player's hands. Yeah,
because like this 7K swing I don't like. I'd rather do 3 5K swings. Yeah, with Perona. I'd rather use that Dawn and Perona because, again, they've got all this extra counter power that just makes your Dawn usage really inefficient.
Right. I mean, Nami's essentially a control deck, honestly. Yeah. You're controlling what your opponent is able to do in damage and board state at times. And, like, he's not making his board any bigger by doing these 7K swings either.
No. Yeah, see, this is the Nami player is probably pretty ecstatic to see them swing like this.
Yeah.
Because I know I would be.
If you have 4 life right now, ooh, Andy whiffed on that.
Yeah. We take that 7. Oh, it's another peel off.
Life.
Oh, that is, this is. You have to play specifically. If you would have done a 5-5-5 and then 3 on Perona, you'd still have what, 6 Dawn open to play another card, and would have gone out the same amount of cards from hands, right?
Yep. And now look how healthy that hand is again.
Yeah.
That Nami player's hand was down to 2 cards at one point. I mean,
now it's tripled. All right, and
now that Nami player can just keep swinging into characters.
And yeah, definitely attacking the Moria because they could have a Pacifista, but they are countering. Sure, discarding 2, that's fine.
Must have been attacking the Kuma actually. Didn't they drop a 2K and the Jimmy?
Sorry, that's the alt art of the starter deck Moria, which does look a lot like the vanilla one.
Okay.
I usually like that card existing's made it. There is a bit confusion. Yeah, especially on webcam when you can't like see it.
We see the Nami player actually doing what we were talking about, what the Doffy player should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you just need to again like it's a grind of hand advantage, and you know it's like the same thing for like you know this is a Newgate player, right? When they if you just do 4 6K swings, it takes a card out of hand every time, and way better than like 2 8K swings more times than not.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what I mean by Nami's a control deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now Nami is controlling the hand. It's controlling board state by what it's allowing to stay on, because it could just break fist some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's also just controlling the life damage here.
Yeah. All right. So this is playing an overheat, which you're getting your Dad's bones back, which is super strong.
I really don't. I mean, maybe he has no characters in hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to hope for. But again, like a 5 and a 9 swing would have been better than 2 7 swings, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, just go as wide as you can.
All right, getting a
one thing I really like doing with Spada, by the way, because I just saw that player do it, is I love to set up the bottom 3 cards on my deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how I can deck myself out.
Oh man, an all-star, you've drawn 4 cards from your life. That's insane.
Yeah. This Nami player has so much advantage. We'll see if they capitalize. They have no Dawn up right now.
Yeah, but then, you know, like there's no more swings. We did get the Doffy off of leader blind effect, which is setting up the top of your life, which is pretty strong. Yeah. So that will help.
Yeah, now the turn goes back to the Nami player, so we'll see what they do here. They still look like they have a good amount of deck left, though.
Yeah, because we haven't seen any like combos, and Zeph only bounces 3 or less to hand, so you don't get like a lot of great board advantage for it. But yeah, swinging 5 into probably Moria, or I guess maybe Doffy, 2K out either way. The blocker Doffy.
Right. Yeah, I have to imagine the way this Doffy player is playing at the moment, that they just had no characters in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we just saw that 2K come out, and then we know that was on top of deck. So yeah, and getting rid of the All-Stars, which is definitely dead in hand, and then a Rubber Band of Doom.
They might have already gone through 4 All-Stars too, by the way. I remember seeing 2 hit the discard pile at one point, and then we just see 1 be discarded there and then 1 off life. Yeah, I believe there's no more All-Stars left, which is always important to note because you want to know what's in that life.
All right, and so we got Zeph, which is very strong, bouncing your own Kaya back into your hand, which is usually what you want.
Sometimes it's better not to instantly play that Kaya down again, though, and leave these 4 Dawn up. You know, if you had the events, I would just leave 4 Dawn up here.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier. Nami really is generically there's a way to get there. In most matchups, but you will come down these crossroads of these points of no return, where you have to say this is the plan I'm committing to, and like this is what I think they're going to be doing next turn, and this is my out. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think right now both players are doing what they can do.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen comboed out of the Doffy player's hand and the state of his board, I have to imagine he really doesn't have any characters in play that he wants to play down. Maybe 2Ks in hand or something like that, or a Love Beam.
Yeah, there's probably a Mihawk in there, and that's probably going to get rid of the Zeph. But
no, I would play down that Mihawk, to get rid of that Zeph.
Yeah.
Yep, and we did come down here.
It's as if
you can't let this Nami player get 7 off of the Zeph, but also you're putting one more card back into their deck.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. And honestly, Zeph being the bottom card of your deck is, I guess it's fine.
Good.
Yeah, it's not good,
Yeah.
but it's what it is.
Because you can't really play Buggy or something and put more cards at the bottom of your deck, and then you have to remember your new order instead of your last order.
Yeah.
I imagine by now he has set up his bottom order the way he wants to win the game.
Let's see. So we're overheating and probably getting the Daz Bones back to hand.
Yeah.
It's very strong. You're facing 3 5K swings after this, so we're finally recognizing that's perhaps the path to victory on this one. All right, going down to 1 life.
Yeah.
And do we want a gavel? We have gavel in hand, which, milling 2 is fantastic, but deciding not to use it on these swings.
Yeah. And it feels like the Nami players should really be through more of their deck at this point.
I think so too. They looks like they're probably at 15-ish cards in deck.
Yeah, and I would have thought it would have been way less than that by now.
Yeah.
But
And we know
Nami
we have
gets to this weird point in the mid game where if you're not doing the most perfect play, you just don't have any way to force more cards out of your opponent's hand.
Yeah. And so now we've got Deathwink is usually better when your opponent doesn't know it exists, but it they clearly know it now.
And we see him now stack the bottom of his deck, so he knows what's at the bottom.
Yeah.
And he has set it in the order he wants to. Zeph is now the 5th card in the deck.
Which is actually probably exactly where you want it. If you can play Zeph with Kaya, and that just mills you down all by itself.
Right.
All right, we've spent 2 Dawn to make our deck 3 smaller. Getting rid of a Deathwink. Maybe not the Deathwink, but a Deathwink. And a Brick Fist.
Interesting. So we should still have 7 Dawn up, 1 from the Buggy and 1 from the Kaya. So 8 Dawn, excuse me. And real interesting point here.
Yeah, that Brick Fist is so good, especially with Kaya on board. It would help 1 less attack come through next turn, but we'll see what their decision is.
Now, he could have that many events that he just feels like, I need to leave all this up for events.
Yeah.
And at this point, he could already have a very good idea of what that last life is.
Yeah, and so we're swinging 6. I'm going to guess this is either at... Okay, well, it don't matter. We get out of it.
Nope.
With the Gum Gum Rain.
Very good card. Interestingly enough, Red gets that same card next set, and it's searchable by Nami.
Yeah. I don't know if interesting is the word I would use. I'd say unfortunately, but you are correct. All right, so we got another Brick Fist. We're putting the blocker back into hand. It's fine. Yeah, but it's very tough. Like your winning state for this game usually comes down to, are the 2 cards I could draw off Deathwink usable, right? That's usually what it gets down to.
And most of the time, by the time you play that Deathwink, you probably know what those cards are. I mean, you probably stack your deck that way, you would hope. We've seen, I believe, 2 or 3 Buggies come down this game.
Yeah.
A couple Badas, so...
But yeah, that's exactly like what separates a good blue player versus a bad one, or at least mediocre, is that they think of all the stacking not only for like if you have your best curve or predicting like that, because sometimes with Doffy, like, you can expect to draw a card like with Boa or something, right?
Yeah.
Drawing with Boa can really mess up your curve if they jet pistol away and now the card on top of your deck is not what you wanted it to be.
Sure, 100%. Because your whole intention was, I'm going to Boa first and then use Doffy's skill.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be,
Yeah, and I have these moments where I'm just also like, I should know the top card of my deck, but here I am 5 minutes later. Who knows? Oh, we're straight just Deathwinking out with no draw.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When you know the Mihawk swing exists.
Yeah, because we have Gavel in hand too. And we're taking it. Oh, okay, another Gavel. So this bounces a card back to hand?
Bounces Gecko, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Plays Kuma and pass.
Yeah, we knew that was there.
Well, the Nami player survived. That's always the mission. But you're going to have to do some major damage to your deck here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 cards. That's tough.
Yeah, if we get 7 down, we know we get a Zeph there. All right.
Okay. That's a good start.
And again, though, like you can't use Nami to attack into any cards on board. Red Rock don't exist yet, so you can't go there. Okay, our third buggy.
So that Zeph's now going to be at the bottom of the deck, by the way.
Yes. I think that...
Because he can't grab it with the buggy. And it would have been that 5th card, I believe.
Yeah, because we are at 13. We peel off down to 11. And then top 5. It might be like the top card of our deck or second one.
He couldn't even grab anything with that buggy, so he forgot his stack.
Yeah, because you should know that by now.
Yeah.
All right. Which may have meant that you had to have Kaya'd first, but... All right, discard a Spada. One more?
Yeah,
right?
He needs to do one more. He might be thinking based on his Don. Yeah, that's...
Okay,
like
cool. Just making sure.
So he does drop the Zeph down. The Kaya, I guess? Yeah.
You know, if you have the Gavels in hand.
He could pull it off.
Oh, but no, you wouldn't be able to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, too many cards.
Too many cards. Unless you can do 2 more Kaya effects, or 3 more, which would be very impressive.
He still has to discard 2 cards here. I think the Nami player is realizing there might not be a way out of this one.
Yeah, and they're so close. They're very, very close.
Ooh, that one hurts.
Yeah, that one's pretty rough.
That's 2 cards right there. Deathwink is 2 cards, so...
2 for... Okay, Brick Fist.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I think you can get down to 2 cards in deck, right?
I guess he's just seeing how far he can go.
Yeah, because you can gavel the next 2 out, but then you'll have 2 left. Or maybe 1 left?
4. He has 4
4
left.
Yeah, so gavel will get you down. But you only have 1 card in hand. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to happen.
And he had another peel-off in hand, interestingly enough. He might have got that off the Kaya. Yeah, I think what we saw here is maybe through a couple of actions and even the Mihawk thing, I think his stack got messed up there.
Yeah, and best case, let's say Buggy found something, we'd have 1 more card in hand for that gavel and 1 card left in deck. 1 less in deck.
Yeah.
We would have had 1 card left. All right, yeah. Table 2, we've got our Yamato player who we saw at the end of last round versus a Newgate player. Battle of the which 6K leader is better, and spoilers, I think it's the 6K all the time versus the 6K like half the time at best.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested in seeing what this Yamato player prioritizes. You know, I'd also be interested in knowing who won dice roll.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go second against Newgate, I think you have a better shot as Yamato. Because you can also play Katakuri on curve, which, I mean, giving them life when they have to take life anyways can screw up their curve. So, but what are your thoughts? Who would what would Yamato want to do?
You know, I think it kind of depends on your build.
Yeah.
I know when I was playing it, I tried to play a nice amount of like the 4-6 vanilla. I think I was at 2, and then 4 of the 5-7 Yamato, so that I had a Don 4 or a Don 5 play.
Sure.
I could curve out either way. And I think that turn is like the key turn for Yamato, right? Because if you can't put a vanilla static character or like maybe a cracker or a smoothie or something that can just put some pressure, you're going to be hurting. So they're going first. So it'll be interesting to see what they prioritize.
All right, so yeah, I think they're just prioritizing, my guess is the curve that they usually like to run on this deck, which is, again, turn 1, Pudding, turn 2, Parasparrow, turn 3, Yamato, into turn 4, Charlotte Linlin. That's usually like a pretty straightforward line.
Yeah. So hear me out. I think they shouldn't even play down the Espira.
Interesting, because it just isn't. It's not worth it.
You're just not going to see that much value because you're going to have to don it up to swing every turn.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just put it all on Yamato right now, guarantee take another life. I like when I play Yamato, I try to run you down and go wide, and just hope we can get there.
Yeah, I do agree that when I play this matchup, Newgate players are smart enough to realize like don't hit the any swings on to lead is not in my favor, and either they didn't see it or they've been listening to us and agree. But Frank swing big 8 into Newgate, and that's a -2 in hand if they want to not take this life. Oh, okay, -1 with guard point.
See, we already fished out a guard point. I love that play.
Yeah. They're like one turn where guard point's better than Rad Beam.
Yeah. All right. Any triggers here? Nope. Okay.
No. And then that is a Speed Jill. You Atmos or Speed Jill fan?
I'm an Atmos. I like the OGs.
Yeah. I'm more of an Atmos fan. All right. Frankie or Luffy fan on the 4-drop vanillas?
I use Frankie now because of the 25th anniversary.
Fair. I would agree that those are my cards in choice.
I love I love that 25th anniversary set.
Yeah. I remember because that came out like you have to order it in like December of last year, right?
Yeah.
And like a lot of people are like, "Oh, is Zoro even going to be better, like good anymore?" And the answer is yes. Yes, it was a fine investment.
For sure. And I think also here, you see the Yamato player drop the 5/7 vanilla. This is another reason why I wouldn't play the Espira on turn 2, is because you needed to fish cards out of the Whitebeard player's hand or make them take an additional life because you know you're going to be playing down that vanilla.
Yeah, and you know that Espira was in life anyway, so you're fine. You know you get that. You're going to discard another one in hand? Bet? Another one in hand? That's my favorite play of just discarding a Espira. Yeah. A Cracker, which is also pretty useless in this matchup, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that card. That is, flashbacks. Here he comes.
That's just so good here. Takes the 6K too.
Yep. Must be fishing for something. Now you are behind on life.
I'm gonna combo it out of that if I could have. But at least your 7-drop Big Mom has value right here, right?
Yeah, 7-drop gets value, or if you have like a rush Katakuri, this is like the turn you can play it and still have the rush effect.
I think I would try to establish that body of the Big Mom if I could.
Agreed. Yeah. Oh, but the 4-3 split, it's looking like they don't have it. And that's double punishing because that means you'll see it later when it's useless.
Yeah, and you need that big body, you know what I mean? So you want it to get the extra value. You definitely don't want to turn it into a poorly statted vanilla.
No. All right, 1 on leader. So, yeah, again, this is signaling no Charlotte Lindland this turn, which is, again, pretty upsetting.
Yeah, and the Whitebeard player just asked to know what the Yamato leader does.
Oh, good. So okay, solid.
Yeah, about to realize that they're about to be equal.
Yeah.
So we're donning up the Yamato. Makes sense. Just do a poke here, see what they give you.
And you attacking the Jill, right?
I would attack the character, yeah, just so I can still keep that 7 having Big Mom value. Plus, when Whitebeard has board advantage too, you kind of feel like you just lose.
My least favorite situation in Whitebeard is when anything I attack into is a 6K, like anything.
Yeah.
And I have all these 5Ks that they can't do anything with. It's just unfortunate. Okay, 7. So
yeah, I would have attached 1 down there and done 8 into the 6.
Yeah, if you had that free, I would wholeheartedly agree. And it looks like they're saying that they don't have that Dawn free. Oh, they're attacking into the big face. Interesting.
Whitebeard player is low in hand for a Whitebeard player. I believe it's only like 6 or 7 cards.
Yeah, which is, again, high for every other player, but that's fine.
Yeah. And we're swinging 6 again at lead.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I would have probably went for the speed Jill here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gets out of it. 3 for, okay, a Brûlée, and leaving 2 open for probably Savandy. All right. Well, that's where we're at. I think what I'm looking forward to the most is Yamato as a yellow leader doesn't have a lot of convenient ways to heal. And so we do get that 9-drop next set that does give you the chance to get a life back, which is really nice.
And pop a character, I mean.
Yeah. Now, I wish the ordering was reversed. If it checked if you had 1 or less first, let you heal, and then pop something, but that's fine.
And they play down ace here, okay.
See, I don't think see-through. I could be wrong. I think these are the official sleeves that are double sleeved. If these are just see-through sleeves on the regular, I don't think they're tournament legal. But I think those are the sleeves with double sleeves on it. I can't. I'd have to check though.
Yeah, and I see a comment here saying that the Whitebeard player should be taking all life. You know, I agree with that sentiment personally.
Alright, well, we attacked into something after using Ace's effect to give -3 to both the Yamato and the Espira, which is quite nasty.
Very good, very good. And the Thatch is still standing, so we still have that swing as well. And I just think everything gets removed here, honestly.
I think so, and that's kind of like the like sometimes people see Ace and it's like, oh, it's just to be aggressive, right, as a rush character, but it's such a good board clear, like obnoxiously good.
And yeah, you just send this Thatch at life. You don't care about Espira.
Yeah,
that's something they have to don to even poke into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was playing. I'm just like, please KO this Espira. I'm begging you, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
he can.
I just always leave him there personally.
Yeah. All right. In this situation as yellow, I really do think you have to start attacking the board, because unless they have their 1 of 9 drop, which again, if that gets played, you probably lose anyways. But they're going down to 0 life anyways next turn.
Yeah, I mean, the problem though is, I hate to say it, but the way they played that last turn, I think we might have been better off leaving the Yamato standing up and attacking with just leader and Espira into the speed Jill and saying that card's got to die.
Yeah.
Because then all they have on board is Thatch, and if they play down Ace, they have nowhere to really swing it into except Espira or life.
Yeah.
And you might as well at this point go down in life as well too, because here you could respond so much better by keeping your yellow card standing up.
Yeah, and I agree. There a lot of people incorrectly just do not play around Ace, and it's a lot of Newgate players get a lot of free value because they allow the Ace, and it's sad because like they'll have all these 5 drops, and then you like, well, remember that Izo I played turn 1? It's gonna trade into your 5K like for free. Like it's very good value.
Especially now with Whitebeard players running like 8 searchers. All right, so we see it looks like 5 Don for a vanilla.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's.
Okay, he's rethinking
that. You see, okay, there's the Katakuri, which again, I wonder if they just drew that, because last turn you could have played it with some advantage.
Yeah, and could have still left that Yamato up, right?
Yeah.
Because that is such an easy card to swing into. You're fine with it.
Yeah.
If it dies, it dies. It's still not a great Ace trade-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think we swing here into the Jill just to get a card out of their hand, right?
Yeah, at this point you can't play. You don't. If they have the 9 drop, they just have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to put them on. Got to have it. You got to try to fix this board state if you can.
All right, deep into that
Decided
think
where to
tank.
go with the 6. 6 at lead. Oh wow.
Oh, I would not. If that was that lead, I would not defend it. If I mean, even if you had Newgate in hand, that feels incorrect. Oh, okay. Looks like we're attacking into the Jill.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got it.
He let it go. Wow.
Because we had the one Dawn open for guard point, and Yellow's got quite the thick hand. Looks like 7 cards, 1 in life. Again, we are 6K leader.
So yellow was able to fix the board state a little bit here. Well,
Oh,
Newgate's
okay.
acting like the Newgate player's acting like he has it. Yeah.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
And you play the 9 drop in your builds normally, correct?
Yeah, I played the the one of.
What are your thoughts about the builds who've decided, you know what, let's just not play it? My opponent's probably going to play around it anyways, so I don't really need to clog my hand with it. Do you subscribe to that at all, or you're like, you still got to run the 1?
Nah, I think you still gotta run the 1, right? Because even if you see it in your like opening hand, or you can get to it in a Zorro game, that can just instantly win a Zorro game.
Yeah.
And here we just see the Whitebeard player going in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 8 to 7.
Yep.
And then another 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would do here in the Yamato's shoes. Has to use sovereignty.
Yeah, which, I mean, arrow would have been better, but I mean, maybe thinking that it's easier to, use 2 now than next turn. But I think the best thing about Newgate being at 1 is that I can guarantee that there's not a second one to keep them at 1 life, right?
Right. I just don't see how the Yamato player wins his turn, and it kind of feels like they have to.
Yeah, I agree.
The AK leader with that, what is it? Looks like it maybe a 7 card hand. Seems to be enough. Let's think here. You could just go 12-12 and hope that hits, I guess. Oh, you're 5, so it'd be 11.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not broken, right? Only
Yeah.
6K on your opponent's turn.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm doing Whitebeard math. Let's see, what can we do here? 11. So you can do 10 and 11, and you have to hope that gets there.
Okay, 7 drop. Yeah, you just crit the life as Newgate, right? No big deal.
I don't even think giving Yamato the life here even matters.
No.
I think I would have just tried to push game. I don't think you have another hope here. So see, this is one thing I talk about a lot in this game, is trying to find the best win con, and it still might be the one that you still might lose, you know what I mean? But there is a best win con in a game, and sometimes they just don't have it.
Yeah. And there's guard point. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've won dozens of Newgate games where you've got 1 Dawn open, you've got a bunch of bricks in hand, but you've got that face. You're like, yeah, go swing ahead, see what happens.
Hundreds. Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah, they just very, very strong for you. And people have just, I mean, they have that mentality, although they have to have it. They've drawn so many cards and, guard point and lose. And you don't have the guard point. You've got nothing. And they can't commit to it.
Right. And, I mean, as we look here, I mean, I'm sure he would have had it. He had one down up. We see that last life would have been guard point if he drew. So that would have been a losing strategy as well. But, I mean, this just doesn't even give you a chance, really, to win the game, it feels like.
Yeah, we're swinging 7 to ace, I'm guessing. Yeah. Easy 1K. And now we have a 6K leader with, 6 in hand. It has to, how much power's on board right now? 20K with no Dawn investment?
I mean, there is, I don't see a world where this works out.
So I'm telling you, Thatch on curve, game ender. It is very, very tough to recover from that.
It's the strongest it's ever been now, right? With how fast the game is.
Yeah.
Because it's just so sticky. And not only that, Gum Gum Pistol's kind of phased.
Yeah.
People have really phased Gum Gum Pistol out. So the Otama Pistol isn't as prevalent as it was, let's say, set 2.
Yeah.
So Thatch is a real sticky card these days.
All right, this is a lot. K. Swinging in.
Yeah, that's just going to be game right there, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, pop the pudding. Just in case.
I don't know what that pudding did to the Whitebeard player.
Yeah, but he's like, you've searched one too many times. All right, 8K, 9K, 10 or 11K, plus 4. What, 15K-ish technically with the -3 as a +3 instead? Yeah, but you're unworried.
It's in this game right now. I feel like it's wherever you can find an edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to find one, even from doing things like just a Tua Frankie vanilla. You know, I mean, it was a real interesting list.
And you could talk to him 5 minutes why it's 2 versus 1. He's he's very particular. When people get so attached to their deck list, that's what I like. Deck building is my favorite thing in card games more times than not. So
right,
being able to have these.
I come from Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Pokemon to me is like a deck building game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people are like, dude, I tried your list. White for Whitebeard, it's just nuts. You play too many one-ofs or something like that. I'm like,
yeah,
I come from Pokemon, man. You got to forgive me.
Yeah, and it's because it's playing to your play style, right? And what you want to see and such. So, so some players have more wins for a reason, right? Because they're able to identify the matchups and the plays that they want to make, and people without that knowledge of what a card's in the deck for can make those miscounts and misclicks and such.
For sure. And I mean, even here, you got to believe that these two are very experienced with both these leaders. They're set 1 leaders. You can assume that a bunch of reps have gone into both these leaders and that they know their deck list. They know why they're playing anything they're playing in that deck at the number they're playing it at.
Yeah, it's just a large decision for them there. And just and one of the coolest things is that Doflamingo more or less fell off in Japan, as far as I know. Not that people didn't play it, but it is a deck that is uniquely more for the English version, where people are like, yeah, this deck is so good, we can still grind out games, we recognized the value for it. And I think that's really, really interesting when we get that kind of different representation just based on people's play styles.
Yeah, and it's super interesting too, because we don't really see Doffy at all overseas.
Yeah.
But over here, at stateside, even last set, I remember in Peoria, my friend Sagar got top 16 with Doffy.
Yeah.
It's just wild to me how much different metas can exist, even though we have the knowledge of overseas. We still have our own meta. I was super excited for the restriction list in the hopes that we created our own meta out of it, but it didn't really evolve that way.
Yeah, equally a little downhearted because of that too. Yeah, just to be able to say, now I get to test stuff that other people haven't, walked grounds other people haven't walked. It's very interesting. It's alluring for me.
I mean, personally, that's what made Whitebeard so much fun for me again. I wasn't really enjoying Whitebeard set 3, and then the restriction list happened, and I was like, oh, bet I want to try to find out a way to make this work again, right? And yeah, but it's just crazy how much that really did not impact the game in the way that it was anticipated.
Yeah, and I I was fearful that like Law was going to be best deck, and because I strictly just was not having a good time playing against it, and it was just like the worst matchup for me at the time, and still kind of is at times. But
well, we also were coming off of OP03 where Law was just dominant at the end.
Yeah, Law was.
I mean, it won like every event.
It was definitely up there. It was like what, Zoro, Newgate, Trafalgar Law. Which, wait, is that familiar? It sounded kind of familiar. So, well, we're kind of in the first couple turns of this game, we had Doffy look Perona at the top of deck, stack the Jinbei there, which is really good against green in general. That Film Nami, if we get rid of the Jinbei, gets rid of it. Ooh, a 6k Gecko Mori off the top is really great, and already pressuring Kid to maybe go down to 3 life, maybe 2.
Yeah, and honestly, as Film Kid, I do the exact same thing that Andrew's doing here. I like to take some life early. I really won't start to get defensive until like maybe 2 or 1 life, because you're going to end up playing down Film Luffy anyways. And we do not know, but I know at Gen Con, I was trying to run 2 8-drop Kid in my list.
Sure. And I think that's great, because like it doesn't matter your life total if you have that 8-drop. That's just your quote-unquote second leader.
Correct.
And so being down at 0 and having that 1 more or 2 more card to help defend it is great. It's very impactful. And unfortunately, we did miss with that Nami there. We attacked into Jinbei, KO it, and used the Jinbei effect to bomb deck it. So that is there. And I think we have 5 Dawn left at the moment.
Going 6 into the Gecko here.
That's just peak value. Gecko is like the best target, I feel like, from this deck more times than not.
But I still agree with the Kid player swinging into that, trying to get more cards out of hand right now.
Yes.
You don't want to see a Doffy player with a big hand.
That is terrifying. So you know that there's that. And honestly, if I was to look at this match, it doesn't look like Kids really started their training. And traditionally, unless they're playing that 1 or 2 copies of 8-drop Kid, that Luffy is very removable by Mihawk.
Oh, very removable. Playing down Zoro here. This is a great 1,000 Worlds target.
And we'll have to see if that ends up being the case here. I don't believe we know the top card of our deck anymore. We hit our 2 Perona targets.
Yeah, we should be out of the draw cycle as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate, but it's just the way this matchup goes in particular. But you can't really create much board or aggression as Kid.
No.
Outside of Kid leader swings.
Yeah, outside that, or like if you do the super combo of Luffy into Brook into Usopp or another.
Or Nami. Yeah. 7 lead, definitely instant take.
All right, 2. You think they're gonna being conservative?
Oh, not using ability. That tells me this 4 is 1,000 Worlds.
Yeah.
Zoro is gone.
Well, yeah, I think 1,000 Worlds best in slot right now. Obviously, there's a lot of 4 drops in this deck, but there's something that they want to pay for 4, 100%.
Yeah. And going down to 1 life here. If he 1,000 Worlds at Zoro.
Oh,
yep, like
yeah.
I said, great target here. Yep.
Man, I didn't know if that was you sighing or the Kid player, because I would 100% be like, oh boy.
Yeah, that was me. I feel for him. I think you need to maybe even double swing here with Kid. It feels bad. But I think you need to get rid of the Gecko and just kind of put some pressure at life.
Now, we do have 8 Dawn right now, correct?
8 Dawn, so you can get a little bit of board back, but it's gonna feel bad if they just play that Mihawk. And they're sitting at 4 life. Doffy is right now.
Yeah.
You're kind of in this impossible situation where you're just trying to create lines of where your opponent can misplay.
Yeah.
And if you like swing into this Gecko and then swing into lead, You're not giving them Mihawk value right now.
I don't know, but you're already at 1 life though. That's so tragic.
This is not a good place to be.
Now the only benefit is against blue. At any given time, like you know how many swings they can have, so it's not, you know, the math is easier on the defense side for it, but very unfortunate.
I mean, blue doesn't play that rush blue Usopp?
No, I've always, like, you know, someone's gonna do it. Someone in the next couple, especially with blue being more prevalent, someone's gonna sneak in 1 or 2 copies of it, and they're gonna get, like, they're gonna cheese a win or two. But I don't think it's there. So, ooh, a Bonnie, okay.
So we're 6 down left.
I mean, that does represent, you know, being able to just cycle 1 and then, like, get, you know, 2 8K swings if you want. Oh, we got
I love that card.
The Onigiri.
Yep. 6K counter.
I think it's also wild in this game how impactful the fact that your opponent found a 1-drop is long term.
Yep.
Because if the Perona wasn't there, you could use the Bonnie effect and be pretty safe to say that if they wanted to get rid of this, they'd have to waste the leader swing, which is so much value.
Yep.
But with Perona being able to clean it up, it's way different now.
I think that's even why you see Whitebeard players now playing like 8 searchers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond the search, it's an important body.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you
even
never
just
want
to
to swing
say,
Newgate. You never want to swing Newgate into a Bonnie, right?
No. You never do. That feels so rough. All right, we're going to see the 5K and then me hawking the Bonnie. That'd be pretty funny.
And he left 3 up for the 3 swords, suggesting that he would have the Usopp in hand as well.
Yeah.
Now he could be just using it for the combo power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, 9 Dawn for a Doffy player. Also, shout out to Mav. Mav is literally the last person to get into this tournament, and they're currently 3-0 in a good spot.
Yeah, in 5 minutes we could be saying 4 now.
Yes, I don't want to. I don't want to give him the pressure. I don't want to. We've seen a couple games go from one way to the other.
Yeah, really baiting the 3 swords to be used on the Bonnie here.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, gets rid of it. Okay. Perona. Okay, which sets up, the top deck for a leader effect.
And Doffy's so strong when they can chain these Peronas and just start stacking their deck.
Yeah. Also, Kaioken Cards at the raid. Thank you very much. Hope your stream was good tonight, per usual. Any Timbits in the chat though? I'm missing my Timbits. I need some of those in the chat. I'm missing them. So we've got Dragon Ball Super Fusion World Preview. You're not wrong. This is like the beta for it, right? All right. Oh, there's those Timbits. Thank you.
Did you play that at Gen Con?
Yeah. I've recorded some games. I have a video coming out, and I worked on it for like an hour and a half, and then Adobe ate it, and so I have to start again. So
hate when that happens.
Yeah, because I usually don't do a lot of work in my editing. It's more of just kind of churn it out. And this, I'm like, no, this time's gonna be different. And ironically, it's like, okay, I haven't saved in a minute. Control save, crash is gone. Like, ugh. It was rough. I'm like, all right, well, I'll come back to this in 2 weeks when I'm mentally able to handle
After
this
the
again.
anguish is gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
What do you think of the game?
I think it's very good. I'm really excited for it, and it's a game that as much as other people, as much as I was excited for, and a lot of other people were excited for the traditional game to have an online client, I think this game is better suited for an online client environment. So we will see if that's the case. But I'm wholly excited.
I think it's interesting. It feels a lot like One Piece now with the no negates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what they do. I've always liked the DBS leader thing.
Yeah.
Where at like 4 life, you activate your leader and turn it over, and it gets a new ability. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, like, without, you know, there are a lot of games that are soft clones of Magic, right? But I think Dragon Ball made a lot of design decisions that went really well. And Dragon Ball in general had like a really weird development history, and the fact that it wasn't released in Japan, is released only for outside Japan, because Japan already had their own Dragon Ball Super game, and then it ended up being way more popular than the one that was only in Japan. And like I always say, like, the developers accidentally made a really good game, and they're like, because after set 3 you see a huge design shift from saying, oh, we're only supporting this game for 2 years, to like, we are selling, you know, supporting this game until it is no longer good. So
yeah, back on the topic of the game mechanics too, I was just thinking about it. I really, really enjoy the mana system as well.
Yes, it's fantastic. Yeah, I agree with that as well. All right, well, we're jumping to. I know we're getting a little distracted from the game too, but it looks like we're doing an 8K swing with the Useless Kid, which would give us enough to 7 drop a Luffy and go from there. But just the board, the hand, and life difference between these two is rapidly increasing.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for the Kid player, this is a terrible matchup, especially if you're not running the 8-drop Kid or you can't find it, right? I mean, he could very well be running it and just not seeing it.
Yeah. All right, we finally get rid of the Gecko, though. All right, Ezo.
He's just going for board.
Oh, we're gonna X-Drake or something?
I think he's gonna just restand and swing.
Oh, restand, swing. Okay. Oh, there's a 7-cost Luffy there.
Yeah, he had it, but he's just taking control of board here. I mean, I guess that prolongs the game, but he is just going to get free value by swinging with Doffy every turn anyways.
Yeah.
And you can only combo out of so many times, and you're down at 1 life. I think Andrew's doing what he has to do. I just unfortunately think we're at a point in this game where it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think there's just been so much. I mean, that's like the thing. Is like, if Blue's doing well, it doesn't really matter if they can't win this turn. You already, like, I would feel very defeated at this point as Kid, just because there's just so much momentum for Doffy right now, and the security of having 5 life left, and it's very tough to overcome this.
For sure.
And okay, yeah, this is what I was thinking too. You don't want to invest high into this. These Perona swings will guarantee, you know, discards from your opponent, which is really strong.
Yeah, just chip away, right?
Yeah, and I think there's the card on top of your deck right now too, or at least you should. All right. Oh, you ate a 2K. All right. Nice. That's good value. All right. Oh, and a Paradise Waterfall. That is, you got a lot of important cards out of their hand.
Just plays Boa Blocker here. Now the Doffy player still has an insane amount of life. And it probably is going to be okay to take some life here. Just swings that, trying to clear a board. Still got to keep to that strategy once you've started.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, once you start mixing the whole life or board control, is where you really start to falter, right?
Yeah. All right.
All right, getting some control here.
Finally playing the 7 cost, but no targets from hand to play from it.
That's either he wants to keep combo in hand, or he is baiting a Mihawk here. And he might have another Luffy in a card to play down for the ball and turn.
I don't know if bait is 100% the right word. You can bait a Luffy, Mihawk out, but that's still, you're still eating that Mihawk.
Yeah, you're still creating that body on board.
Yeah, because like the effect from Mihawk is great. Don't get me wrong, but just the fact that you now have to worry about a 9K swing every turn is very, very strong.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be coming down too, by the way.
Yeah. So we use
Draws a
one.
card.
Okay. Yep. Get the block.
Yep.
Identifying that. Yep.
Yep.
There he is.
Here it comes.
And
then we see 5.
probably at Izo, if it matters.
He went at lead.
All right. Yeah. Oh, you saved the Izo. Nice.
Hey, every little thing matters, right?
It does.
I mean, he has a 6 or 7 card hand, pretty good hand. Doffy has 5 and 4 life, though.
Yeah, that 5 life is intimidating. I mean, you play Newgate too much, but I've occasionally won games with 5 life, and I guess non-Nami games. Let's clarify with that, because that usually wins 5 life. But man, it is. You feel so powerful, and most of the time it is with Doffy because they never want to swing at leader. They always want to try to swing at board.
Yeah, even with Film Kid, which I played a bit during set 2, I can't even think of one time I won at 5 life.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be at 4 right now is just so advantageous here.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, this is like the opposite problem, right? Like, what is he gonna do to remove that Mihawk? There isn't. There is nothing he can do. That Mihawk is very sticky.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe it's seen sometimes in Film Kid list is if you can establish a Basil Hawkins to try to pressure it next turn, but that is your turn count is low as Kid as it is right now. Oh, it looks like we're
I
playing.
think he's gonna do what I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, but he had nothing else to play either.
Nothing to play again. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 in hand. When you can block with Luffy the Mihawk swing and Punk Gibson the Boa, that's probably fine. At the same time, I'd probably swing with Boa if I could get the card draw with it, because again, it doesn't. I do not need a blocker right now.
Yeah, interesting to see what they do here.
All right, easy 9. All right, yeah, this can get punished by Punk. Yeah, okay. Wasn't respecting that in hand. An extra 2K out of hand, that's kind of rough, though. All right, another 9. Taking it.
Yeah, I don't think he has a choice.
All right. Playing Akuma, leaving 2 open, 4 in hand, which means Mello is on board as well.
Jeez, and just still being at 4 life, I cannot stress this.
No, they're at 5 life.
Oh, is it 5?
Yeah, they're at 5. Yeah. It's a little bit cut off on the stream, but yeah, it's a solid 5.
Yeah, mine I can only see 5 here. I mean 4 here.
Yeah.
Jeez, that is it's something, but it speaks to the matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
this is not a favorable matchup by any means for Film Kid. This is going the exact way it honestly should go.
Yeah, but like such a departure from set 1 meta where if you saw Kid versus Doffy, you'd be like, oh, Kid's got it, right? Kid just established your 8-drop. Blue can't do anything against it. You're just losing. But now with like a different meta, and I mean Doffy's pretty much the same, but Kid trying out a different package, it's way different.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like I guess Kid players feel they have to play Film Kid because of the overall speed of this meta and the Doros and the Whitebeards. But honestly, it comes back to the question I believe you asked in round 1 about Supernova or Film. And this game kind of shows why it might have to be Supernova right now.
Yeah, and I appreciate just the fact that the Film version is newer, right? And that some people just play a deck because it's newer, and but I agree that in a lot of ways I think it can be a step backwards to be playing Film in this specific meta as it is. And with Newgate again just running around a lot, I think Supernova has the better matchup comparatively.
For sure.
All right, you block 11k. Everything on leader. So that's 8 plus 5, 13. I'd probably swing with the Kuma first just in case there's Punk Gibson, I suppose, but I don't even think Punk Gibson saves you here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, the Onigiri. Okay.
Yep.
Well, with 2 cards in hand, 9k wins it for sure.
Yeah. GG's.
Yeah, that'll be it. All right, Michael's going to be 4-0 with Doffy heading into our second to last round. And we'll have to see what else is going to be up there. I will say it's also just... I'm surprised how many people are on Katakuri. And I feel like it is definitely carried by how many people who are on it instead of necessarily how good the deck is on average. I think it's performance based on people on it is lower than average, I would say.
Yeah, and I will also say, being a One Piece fan, that's why I picked up the card game even. Because I wasn't even playing card games when One Piece came out. I'm like, oh, I want to play because of One Piece.
Yeah.
Katakuri is definitely a fan favorite, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know he's, him. I'm a bit of a fraud. I'm getting better, I promise. But I definitely played every Bandai card game up to this. So I'm like, well, this one looks fun. And honestly, like, I was born in the 90s. One Piece has been in my life pretty much my entire life. It's existed, and there's no way I escaped it. So to finally be dragged into it because of a card game makes sense.
Yeah, I never followed One Piece either when I was a child growing up in the 90s. I still remember going down to 7-Eleven and getting like that week's Shonen Jump and seeing One Piece in there and be like, I'll read it sometime.
Yeah. And it was kind of, for me, I would say like the early art style didn't get me immediately. I'm usually not that dependent on art style, but I'm always this kind of thing, like I'll read all of it when it's done. And I've lost that bet for 20 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me actually. It took COVID.
I'm sure.
What a perfect time to jump into One Piece.
Yeah. What can I do at home that takes about 200 hours? I guess watch all One Piece. But see, I'm a fraud of a fan of One Piece, but I'm still a good card game player. I'm not a fraud for playing the card game. Maybe remembering leaders, but not the card game.
Not at all. And as far as card games go, I really like the mechanics of One Piece, like the outside mana system.
Yes.
I do enjoy that, right? Like, one knock on Pokemon is the energy system, in my opinion. It is terrible.
And I haven't played Pokemon in a recent year, but most of the game revolves around cheating the energy system anyways, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And that just seems I did re-download the sim or the thing on the Nintendo Switch and be like, oh, this is fun. Yay, I'm playing Pokemon. But like even like set 1 Pokemon is just like, where are my energy removals and like unramping my opponent technically and all that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're exactly right.
Also, shouts to Richard for being a Tamago stan. None of those Charlotte Operas in here.
And also, it looks like the Katakuri player is just going for that curve out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we kind of, I mean, a lot of games in One Piece, and maybe this is the weakest thing, like the first couple turns look identical for most decks at this point, right? There's some variance because obviously we're seeing our third Dodon, which is obnoxious to see so many of those so quickly. What are your thoughts on Dodon, real quick, if I'm able to get a 10-second answer?
Ban.
Cool. Great. Awesome.
Real easy answer. I think it's one of the most broken cards in One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too generic.
Yes.
And I hate that. I really think it's. I hate to say bad card design, but I think that's kind of what it falls under.
Mm-hmm.
I like what the card can do, grabbing 1-drops.
Yeah.
I just really can't stand how generic it is.
I 1000% agree. I started off the format thinking, no, Dan's fine. It's obnoxious, but it's fine. And then, since saying that, I've kind of more of like every time my opponent plays turn 2 Dodon or 2 Don Dodon, I say, okay, am I winning this game or not? And most of the time, I'm like, I've lost. Like it gets so much early advantage. It's absurd.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about it, and they made a great point. They were like, I wish the search in this game was like an ability, like let's say Scry, and it said Dodon can't grab a character.
I've said that, like I think it was me and you at Lorcana.
Maybe
in line. It was
100%
me at Gen Con. Yeah.
Yeah, then it was you.
Yeah.
And I totally could not agree with that any more than apparently I already do.
Yeah. I'm glad that the opinion was so strong that you remembered it. So
I think I've quoted it several times now.
Yeah. And I think, and that's the issue that I kept seeing is that, it finds, your Dodon finds Nami, and then Nami finds your Zoro, and then you're good to go, or whatever. Like, it just, the chaining from that is what's really great for it. But, we get the on-curve Linlin, which putting them down to 1. And, Katakuri, if you need to win this matchup, you have to be just really aggressive. You can't play for value.
And I also think it's one of the one times Yellow wants to go first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially Katakuri, right? Like, Yamato always wants to go first.
Yeah.
But, like, Katakuri, it actually starts to benefit you because you can drop that 4-6 vanilla and still use Katakuri ability.
Yeah. And being able to, pressure your opponent, he does have to give Trafalgar Law second, which they generally like to do. But, it's very, it's what you need to do. Because if you make it difficult, playing the Tamago is very good for you. Making it difficult for them to trade into your board means that you get that value, or, you get those multiple swings.
And also, we've seen an Otama, so we know that, and I believe he might even still have one in hand. We know they're out there. We know that this Linlin at any time could be possibly down to 4K, but it's still super important to establish that body.
Yeah. And we haven't mentioned it yet, I don't think, but we do have the 1-drop Nami from starter deck, which definitely a decision point for a lot of people if they like it, are for the extra value of, I think if Newgate's present in the meta, which it is, being able to make sure that your leader is always swinging 6K every turn is pretty important.
Yeah, I was actually just when I came back from Peoria, Nikki and some guys came over and we jammed some games, Nikki and I, and he plays that starter Nami at 4.
In Law?
In Law.
Yeah, it's rough because like the other Nami can't find it, but it's great because it's another Dodon target, which sometimes you do need to find, like Dodon does whiff in Law quite a bit. Probably about, I'd say, 1 in 4 searches, maybe, for most builds. So being able to help make it maybe like 1 in 5 helps a lot too.
Yeah, and Dodon's just, I think we've already stressed it, right? But it's one of those most important cards in Law because anything that can grab first off Otama is just so powerful.
Yeah.
I
And
remember in
go
set
for it.
1, some people were playing the Wano build of Law just so that they could Momo and grab Otama.
It's tempting, right? Because you see that synergy there. And it's why like people are like, okay, I know Arlong's not really the leader for it, but what if we play Momo and we can find any of our high end for Wano? Like that's very tempting.
Most definitely. Not only that, but then you could even still mix in like an Okiku or whatever,
Yeah. All right, going down to 1 life as Katakuri, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like there's been much relevant. You might have gone like maybe a Perospero off, but not really those relevant triggers that you'd be hoping for this leader.
Yeah, I'm playing down a Chopper here. Just get another blocker out.
And that's what you gotta do if you want to beat Yellow. Is you just play a bunch of blockers, and they just gotta like they could have their 12k big bombs, but Chopper still gets in the way.
And that 2K just feels so bad every time you drop it to pop a 1-drop blocker.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
You have to discard a card, and then it's also 2K out of your hand. I guess it's good for a push turn, but you probably wouldn't want to do it any other time. I also believe the Katakuri player does not know what his last life is at this point. If I remember correctly, he has not put it to the bottom.
Yeah. I think you're right. I was trying to think of. Yeah, have we probably. I don't think we've used Katakuri's effect off in this game, if at all.
I know he used it when he dropped that vanilla.
Okay.
I think that was it.
Yeah, this is weird because again we're at 9. We could do something tricky where this is a 7k swing. We look at life. Yeah, and I think correctly going down to 0 life with all these blockers makes sense because then it plays around the chance of like a 7 cost Charlotte Linlin or a 10 cost next turn, sniping the life out for free.
Yeah. And here,
okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Here we just see them.
Yeah, so they're just resolving the Katakuri effect.
Yeah.
Because it's on webcam. So Katakuri if you're checking your opponent's life, you just reveal. So they know that there's a 2K. And that's public knowledge, which is a little unfortunate for webcam, but I don't think it's enough to make a real difference.
No, if you like Katakuri, I don't think it's enough reason to play Big Mom, right? You're playing Big Mom because you want like more of a control build.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this Katakuri player goes from here. So you only have.
Did they block this, by the way? Is this attack still resolving?
I did not see them combo. Yeah, it's still resolving.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
Makino and Nami. And you have what? 8 Dawn left here?
Yeah.
So you could play down the Katakuri. Maybe give yourself the life even.
With the pudding, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Not doing that.
Yeah.
Guess he's swinging into the Law blocker, or is he going into life?
Probably Law block. I think there's a good chance that Katakuri or that Law can just win this next turn.
Either way, even if it's even to Law leader or blocker, it might get blocked here.
Just confirming that I am attacking you.
Yeah, and he's just gonna block it.
All right, another pudding. Look at top 4.
think of too many cards that could be coming down here that you're hunting for with that.
Espira, which I mean is just I guess another card you put on board because it's not great in hand.
No, it's definitely not something I would think you'd want to grab there.
Oh no, yeah, that just means one more unusable card. Yeah, if we know the bottom card in our life and we know it's an arrow that we can gain a life from, that's fine. But
I don't believe he has that knowledge. Looking at this board state, where do you think Law goes from here on this turn? They already have Restand out there. That's a free 6K swing and a leader swing.
all right, we've got the Bonnie looking at top 5. We get our best hit more times than not. We have the Trafalgar Law.
And we see double blocker down. That was an expensive double blocker for the Katakuri player.
All right, still thinking there. Technically, the Brook needs to be face down. It just revealed on the attack, but so that's why that's there. But it should be other ways. All right. And Garrett, can you hear me right now too?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I got there was something else going on, so my apologies for being lackluster there. Oh, a double Otama.
Yeah, so he did. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with you last turn, is you can just turn that Big Mom into a 4K. I think we knew he had both Otamas.
Yeah, I mean, with all the Dodons that was played, I'm sure one drew at least one, right?
Right. And I mean, here, you're just in such a bad spot. Now, as someone who's played Katakuri, what is it about this matchup that makes it such a bad matchup for Katakuri?
What I've really noticed is that it's so tough to remove their board efficiently, and it kind of comes into this scenario where like there's so many, they always end with either nothing besides like their leader they can swing into, or just 6K bodies, which are harder to swing into, especially if you play 10 drop. It means that most of your cards are 5Ks. So it's hard to swing and then also try to clear board afterwards. So it's a lot of that. A lot of that.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, too, just so many cheap blockers. I mean, it feels like if you establish a blocker against yellow, they just have such a hard time doing anything besides swinging over it.
And they just get so, you just see them generate all this value. And like if they play... I think we saw Jason play earlier. Very, very wise and very good at just like recognizing that the 2K in hand is better than anything that you can play out of hand right now, and getting that guaranteed counter is very tough. Is very good. But ooh, okay. There's the 10 drop.
And free block here, so
yeah.
No worries on the Law side.
But now with all these 6K attacks in hand or on board too, and assuming nothing, like with 2 Brûlés coming down from hand, that means that chances of Brûlé in life is low, which is nice.
Yeah, the main thing here is it's almost like Katakuri needs a 5-drop rush Luffy, right?
Yeah.
If they had something to get around blockers, it would make yellow very, very strong.
Yeah, and there's just like a weird mix of like how removal is just so costly. Like getting a card out of your life for removal is generically how it is right now, and that's asking for a lot, especially when it's inconsistent and you have to just hope the card is there at the time.
Yeah, and I mean, even in this situation, sure, you could pop a blocker with Thunderbolt and cost a life, but even that's kind of feels bad unless you know you can push and win games.
Yeah.
Now, what is interesting on the Law side is I've played so many games against Law, and I've also played quite a few games with Law. It's definitely one of the decks I like to play.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for me, I just draw hands that make it look like I'm playing Zorro.
Yes.
But oh, we see the trigger of Cracker come down. But Law has so many lines. Like right here, I'm sure there was a totally different play he could have done if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. All right, but now that Cracker makes the math so much easier. I guess okay, he's got 3 cards in hand, not 1. I don't think playing this. I don't know. Maybe it makes a difference. Maybe it helps you commit for a game next turn. All right, there's the easy block.
You're gonna see that Law be maybe restanded here.
Mm-hmm.
He can do 7 with blocker Law, restand, play down a character so he can do the shambles and restand here. I think he has 4 Dawn left.
Yeah, and again, like we've been talking about, like, you know, the ends of these games can be very, you know, blink and you miss it at times, but it's really just some person calling someone's bluff, right? Insisting that they don't have it, that I can win this turn, the cards in hand are rough, and instead just saying, you know what, I'm done. It's your turn. Passing right there.
And I will say, this game has gone on for a minute. It's to each player's credit, right? Because this is a super bad matchup for yellow.
I would agree, yeah. And I would say Richard is minimalizing that statement. He's been making it look, you know, a little bit uphill for Law in this matchup, despite Law, I would say, seeing most of their pieces.
Oh, Law, I don't think could have grabbed a better starting hand as far as searchers and building a board goes.
Yeah. And I would have to look back through this game to see, you know, when did the momentum start shifting away? Obviously, getting late enough to be able to play the 10 drop is very solid, but getting out of it with the two counters there.
And still has 1 Otama in hand.
And this is, if we have the Thunderbolt, we living. We're feeling really good about it. Okay, 5. Yeah.
Did Katakuri just win this game?
I think they're on the path to it. Yeah, as long as they continue down it, they're in a really good spot.
I'm a little surprised that the Law player just passed with 4 down up.
I definitely think they should have tried to go for game. I don't know exactly what's in hand, so that could be wrong, but I've played enough Katakuri where I know, like, I don't know, like the cards in your hand as Katakuri are either 4 2Ks or 4 no counter cards. It's intimidating on both sides.
I mean, I said it. I thought he should have pushed. I thought there was math there where you could have almost guaranteed it, unless they hit the right life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take it he doesn't have restand, because I believe that's an Otama. We knew he had 2 Otama. I would have to see discard to see if both are there. But he did just combo out with Otama and Makino, I believe.
Well, they are thinking. Yeah, so that we have 5 Dawn available, so you do know that, you know, with 1 Dawn, your leader is a 7K, which is very unremovable.
And it's just going to block that 5K? So maybe he doesn't have the Otama in hand.
I mean, this, you get to block this and it survives next turn. All Right, if you have Thunderbolt, though, you just slam that. I think Thunderbolt just wins it.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Because you can Katakuri for 7 and then swing with Big Mom to just end the game.
All right, so this is 6, so this has to be a 2K, which we know it is. Yeah, okay. And then 7 and 10, okay. And you don't have to, you know the card in life. And then block that with the law. Okay. It looks like he swung into there. I mean, it doesn't matter. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have 1 card in life or 2? 1. Okay, sorry. The pudding cut it off the side. It looks like there's 2. There's only 1 card in life, right? I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, he only has 1 life left.
Yeah, I had to double check there.
I thought he was going to be able to pull off the game. I thought he was going to be able to pull off the game that turn, but like we saw, he was able to use that 1K, that 2K to come around.
Ooh, okay, we knew that Brûlé was there. One card in hand.
Law needs to win right now. I'd probably go 9-9.
I mean, how much Dawn do we have open? 6, 7?
I think 7.
Yeah, 9-9 sounds correct to me.
Because he only has 2 cards in hand, right? The Katakuri player? Doesn't 9-9 guarantee game?
I think they have 3 cards in hand.
3 cards? I would take those odds.
Yeah, you have to. Those odds are way better than you surviving your next turn. Way better.
Yeah, 3 cards. No, 4 cards, it looks like.
I can't tell. 4. It is 4. Yeah.
So a little harder, but I still think 9-9 is your best bet. Because if you get too greedy and poke it with 7 or something, then you would have had it 9-9 anyways. So if it goes through, I just think you got to go 9-9 here.
Yeah, because with 7 Dawn available, 4 on your Law leader, which makes it 9, and then 3 on your Law blocker, which makes it 9 as well.
Because even that's a big ask. 2 2Ks and a 1K.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I could see them thinking about is perhaps they have Rush Luffy in hand, and that can get around the blocker, but I don't think that's better.
It's more expensive, that's for sure. My only thing would maybe be restand, I guess, so you could swing 8 again, and then still be able to attach 1 onto Law to do 8, 7, and then you could still swing 5.
So another 8, which then demands 2 cards out of hand, and then 2 7s.
You could do that, or you could do
that.
8.
That actually might be better. That might
Yeah.
be better. An 8 and 2 7s is probably better.
That's the only thing I could think that he's debating right here. But also, if that 1 card is restand Law, what luck?
Yeah, because that's the top deck off
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 9-9 here. I think they've listened to us long enough. No, I'm
Yeah. Yeah, block.
Yep.
Okay. And then 9. What do we
have
got?
it. Show it to me.
They have 2K,
We
2K,
have it!
and exactly 9. Oh,
Oh,
that
I
is.
thought they had it. I saw the 2 Sanjis, and I'm like, oh, they
Oh,
got
I just
it.
need one more. Yeah, it's so many times like yellow has like 5 cards in hand. And you're like, I can only use one of them. That's insane. Super close.
Yeah, we see that starter Nami, which, like you said, is a decision point amongst Law builds.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what kind of advantage he can use that to really maybe find an avenue in this game. If he runs the Rush Luffy, I know that will benefit right there. And it can also boost your restand turns, right? When you need to just kind of build back your board, and it gives you that one Don, that extra 1K that you can get back.
Yeah. And yeah, okay, so we did see
Nico on curve.
Yeah. And we get to put the Don underneath, yep, there. And whenever I see the Nami, it's usually because either people are playing the Nico or they're playing the starter deck Zoro. To just, you know, always have a 7K on board is really nice for how cheap that is. So I think that's strong too.
Yeah, and this goes to show that the power of that Nami, right? Law players are going to take that first life anyways, but he was still able to establish Nico Robin and do a 6K swing.
Yeah. Yeah, so demanding a response there. Okay, Nico, finding Nico. Yeah. This truly is a mirror match.
Watch him drop Capone this turn too.
Yeah, I could. I can definitely see that happening. Oh, okay, Dodon. Okay, that's right. You have to finish the Dodon. I was, you know, they started with Dodon, so you got to follow up with yours.
Makes sense. I think that card should be banned.
Oh man, controversy on my channel. I said one thing when you came over here. Don't spark anything. No. I think I've said it on my channel enough times, but
I will say though, I really was genuinely surprised when I saw the restriction list and it did not include Dodon.
Yes. It was not a card that I think I've talked about it 100 times. A lot of people like, oh, Eggman, look what you did, because I released that video like the day before. But yeah, a lot of what I was saying and asking for really didn't happen outside of Rad Beam. I think they like if I released that video like 2 weeks before it, people would have not have even included it in the discussion of impacting that restriction list.
Yeah, and Radical was one card that I was actually really happy to see get restricted, because it does limit gameplay.
It does.
To a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it is like a good like one-of trick, and I think like those existing in the game sometimes could be, you know, what it is, and it's just a knowledge point of playing around stuff. But I don't know, you're definitely someone who likes running one-ofs in your decks anyways, and you find consistency and inconsistency.
Yeah, well, the way I look at one-ofs in this game specifically is that once I built my deck for, like, let's say I believe I have to see Nico Robin, for example, right? And I run it at 3 or 4, right? Yeah. So once I get all those cards in my deck in there and I have all my consistency that I need, that's when I can start looking at one-ofs. Like, that card's not going to make me any more consistent than I already am. So let me include this one-of that could sway a match this way or sway a match this way, or give me a play line on this turn or a play line on that turn. And that's where I think it's interesting. If it's a card you can live without, but can also, you know, cheat a game. And in this game, you really can't afford to lose, especially now without Top Cut.
Yeah, and I don't know, like it's just the fact that you can have those outs and when you need to, and true, like there's a lot of times, like, you know, it doesn't matter. A 1K is a 1K. If it's a card that I was going to counter anyways,
right?
There's flexibility in finding that. On defense, a lot of these cards are interchangeably.
Yep.
All right. Well, there goes the Robin.
We see that Nico go. Yep.
Yeah, and then this Robin's going to eat probably the Chopper. Nami could be a choice, though.
Yeah. If he feels that Nami's giving him too much advantage. Taking it to Don here instead.
If it was the only Dodon on there, and it's something that I'd be worried that they keep being able to bounce back and get advantage from, I could see that. But with 2 on the board, I'm less. It's less of a priority for me.
Taking that right there too. Paying 3 Don here.
Oh,
or another Nico Robin.
Nico Robin, man. Again, Nico's is another deck building choice. There are a lot of decks that have done very well without Nico, but in this mirror match here, oh boy, it's doing
it's putting in some work.
A lot of work. And with the chopper to defend the first one, if they try to get rid of it too, I think Jason's been in, had a lot of control in this matchup early on.
This goes to what I was saying earlier about the times that I've played Law. This looks like a Zoro deck.
Yes, yeah. We've seen no green, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, minus 2k to probably, that
Yeah,
Nico.
to the Robin.
I ain't sure. And 5 cards in hand again. Like, you're not too worried if they get rid of this Robin. Because I could see them being okay with letting it go in the first place.
Yeah, this is one of those turns that you could be coming back to. This is a very important turn for Adrian here.
Yeah. Right.
Using Nami to swing 2 into the Robin.
Okay, yeah. Recognizing that if this didn't go away, there'd be at least 2 more swings into it.
And it also leaves the Dodon free to swing into the Dodon.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I'd start with probably leader, because if I could leave the Dodon healthy, I probably would. But I know there's like the value of the 3k swings into the 3k.
Right. And my guess is that he wants to even up the life here as well.
Yeah.
So he's cleaned up board a good bit.
Yeah, okay, 5 at lead. And there's a good chance you can shambles this turn too.
Jason takes it.
Ooh, Zoro. Okay. Putting on the pressure. Oh, we aren't even shambling this turn.
I imagine we're going to see that Otama get discarded and another blocker be played with that last Don.
Yeah.
Blocks with Capone.
Oh. That's a shame that, I mean, it would even like, what if you had Bonnie and then you could Bonnie effect, search something and then bounce back. Zoro, bounce it back to play Zoro would have been, I think, just as strong. And potentially help you find a 5-drop, but it just means that I don't think either players have found their Bonnies yet.
I don't believe we've seen one Bonnie search this game, which is interesting.
I don't. Besides beige, I don't think we've seen green cards yet either.
I don't think so.
And that's kind of like what makes Law like one of the more unique multicolor decks too, and why it's viable, because it's really is a deck that you do want like a close to a 50-50 split between the 2 colors, right?
I know they've really gone away from that. I know that's how it was set 1 and 2, but I know this set, which is half the reason I felt like I was playing Zoro. I think it's really just the 4 restands, the 4 blockers, and 4 Capone, and 4 Bonnie.
Yeah, so about 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think generally whenever I try to deck build any of the multicolor leaders that exist right now, and even some of the ones in OP04, it's just like I just run the one color and then text from the other color, and that's the deck. Like it barely feels multicolor.
Yeah, almost like Orkana, where you have like a support color and a dominant color.
Yeah.
Oh, whiff on the Bonnie. The first time we see it, and it's a whiff.
Oh, that is. I mean, if they're not able to recover from this, that's a lot of momentum back to Adrian, who I would originally say was on the back foot.
Yeah, I imagine Jason will pop a blocker. Otama-Zoro.
Oh, and that means you can Nico Robin, attack, get rid of the Zoro, and pressure. Probably Dodon.
Yeah, swinging into the Dawn, popping Zoro.
I gotta say, as someone who again was like a set one Luffy main, Nico Robin is such a good card.
It was maybe the best card in set one, along with 8-Drop Kid.
Yeah.
Those two cards were just so good.
Yeah,
you know what card I missed the most, though?
Which card do you miss the most?
Shanks.
Really? Yeah, 9-cost Shanks.
Yeah. I cannot find any excuse to play that card anymore, though.
Yeah. I'm really thinking about it. I mean, again, this is a game by inches, not by miles for this mirror match. So having to make these 1K decisions and make a huge difference.
Yeah, I just I think Jason's gonna struggle here. Because you're gonna get on the crackback. He still has 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, but again, like those have to be good cards. I mean, Law only plays good cards at this point, but it's gonna be a little bit tough to, maybe not tough. You have to have a very specific amount of cards to reestablish this board and get the full advantage that you're probably looking for.
I don't know. When you see Don go into an Otama, you got me scared.
Yeah, you know your plays are not great.
I believe by peeking, I can see that he has a Radical Beam in hand. I don't think he has a blocker. Yeah, it's not looking like it.
Oh, 2K. 2K into the Nami.
At this point, I protect it knowing he has nothing. Yeah.
Well, if they have their own Zoro to rush into that Nami or anything, oh, that is so good.
Yeah, that was a very good play there.
You're in major danger now as Adrian if you can't establish a board right now.
Well, he only has 3 cards. You could actually go.
You could. You know what? You're right.
With Nami and then just put the rest on Law.
Do we know the card? I mean, we know Brooks in hand, right? Because that got bounced back. Or what got bounced back? Beige? A beige blocker, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. But there's a world where you can just push game here.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Especially if you have Makino in hand, go for it. Oh, okay, he had me.
I mean, he might be looking for a Zoro. It's worth the Dom because you have Nami on board anyways.
Yeah, so you're not losing anything by doing this search.
Just free value.
Okay.
So not able to find the Zoro, I imagine.
Yeah, but that Brook can, if you are going the defensive route, can definitely get there.
I just don't like the defensive route because Nico Robin's on board. If you do not remove that card this turn, the defensive route starts to hurt a little. And it's not oftentimes you see a Law player with no blockers on board, right? You kind of got to take advantage of that.
And again, we have 8 Dawn, technically 9 Dawn to work with, so best numbers are, you can do 7 and 8, I think.
You could attach 6 Dawn to Nami and then 3 on Law. Yeah, 7 and 8.
Yeah. I'd probably start with 2 on Law just to see what happens. So we don't have to, sink that much Dawn onto it. But let's see. Oh, Bonnie got bounced. That's right. So we know there's a 1K, and I feel like I remember seeing a Brook add to hand earlier, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
a 2K
I'm pretty sure he would be. I'm pretty sure he would be able to combo out. So Adrian's gonna have to have a Zoro, Makino, or something to create another avenue here.
Brook was Adrian's counter? Okay. Oh yeah, that was the counter for them swinging to Bonnie. Or into Nami. Sorry, I've I'm approaching 8 hours of being live. I'm about done with today. It's a full work day in this chair.
I've just been making hurricane promos all day. We have done nothing but stare at screens all day.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna get this? This is super abstract because I see so many times where like, you know, it's a dichotomy of like, man, 10 Dawn's a lot, and then you really get into it. It's like 10's not that much. They're like being hard capped at 10. Do you think we're gonna get a leader that allows you to have like 12 Dawn in your Dawn deck or something like that?
You know, it's interesting. I could see Bandai doing that because I feel like if you look at past games, they don't mind messing with things like that. Look at Newgate, for example.
Yeah.
Gave us a 6K leader.
Yeah.
I would have thought everything was going to be 5. So, you know, I wouldn't put it out of the realm of question, but I will say this. After we've seen the success behind Newgate, something like that messes with the game mechanics so much and would be such a clear advantage would scare me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
like you're going down a dark road.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of discussion of like, obviously, Dawn being identical right now is like one other thing, and then there's a lot of room for it to be, you know, Dawn having other properties than like just plus 1K, but
sure,
we'll have to see. But that brings up like a whole potential RNG, like if you can't decide, and like potential complexity.
Yeah.
But
so let's see here. Plays down the brook. Puts it on leader.
Any decision on if you want to swing this into Nico or Zoro?
I think you gotta swing into the Nico, right?
Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, I think the Nami should have just swung into Otama. I think thinking that you could get rid of the Nico or Zoro with it was a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, what did he do? Touch 3 down there to it?
Yeah, 4, and then, you know, just discard a Nami from hand to get rid of the Nico.
Yeah. You have nothing else that can attack here. That's the problem too.
Yeah. But yeah, also just in chat, yeah, it wouldn't be universally increasing Dawn. It would just be a leader's effect is that you gets the bonus condition of that. It obviously you'd have to have a negative. It could be like a 4 life leader, but let's say it's like, I don't know, purple and some other color because purple has ramp, so make it worth it to have that. Maybe like another purple black leader because I feel like black has a lot of high end cards that aren't able to combo with each other because they're too expensive. But I don't know. We'll see.
Plays the blocker after killing the Nico.
And then are we chopper back to play? Oh, okay.
That film broke.
And we got a 2K back. Okay, trading the 2K, but with that knowledge, are there numbers immediately? Probably not. Yeah, I don't think there's numbers.
The 2 blocker makes it hard.
It does, yeah.
My only thing is, if I knew I had 2 blockers to play, I don't think I would have taken so long killing that Nico Robin.
Yeah, that was definitely the card I'd.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we just don't have like Dawn to do anything else with it, anyways, and it worked out, but. Yeah, because a 1-drop Nami right now would do a little bit. I guess there's no green to bounce into anyways.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what Jason can do here realistically. Jason has Bonnie in hand still, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Probably start with that.
Yeah, but I think
because
there's...
if you can restand the Zoro, yeah, Jason's saying now he might be able to math it out.
Mm-hmm. See Jackson in chat, like Law vs. Law. What's this Zoro main in here talking about Law? Heard of this guy before, Garrett?
What's up?
Have you heard about this Jackson Huang guy before? Let me tell you.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he used to be kind of good with Law, and then he's not good enough for it, so switched to Zoro. Just real shame. Real shame.
You think he's one of Luffy?
I mean, if he did, it was probably at like some event that, you know, was really like underperforming, just kind of got lucky.
Yeah, it would have to be that way. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Jokes aside, welcome to the chat, Jackson.
The guy with the biggest bounty in One Piece.
Yeah. All right, we're starting after 2 minutes of contemplation, a five at lead.
Yeah, and it's not like this format we're worried about that pistol in life or anything.
No.
Really no harm done here.
And we're back to thinking, and you know we do miss out a little bit of it, you know, the back and forth between players of their thoughts and everything, but just, you know, we got a 2K in hand, both, that's public knowledge between both players too. So
And I'm positive Jason still has Bonnie.
Jason still has what? Bonnie? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I believe you're correct.
Also, since Jackson's here, I want to give out props again for being a great teammate this weekend.
I mean, you had to carry him, but yeah, someone had to fill that chair, right?
Right.
No, I know Cody moderately well as well. I know he loves playing blue, and he you know has done really well with Emporio leading up to this, and yeah, you guys were just seeing like all three of your names, like I'm like, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that you guys won. That's not a surprise to me at all.
Yeah, we were told by several people that we were probably the favorites for that event.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit in my mind, because I was in Tulsa, and I just essentially got the news that you guys won. I'm like, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like all three of you got like all the prizing, and not for nothing, I think a lot of other players went to either Orlando or Tulsa. So
Yeah.
The power level was adjusted. I mean, if this was an event, I don't know. I'm guessing it was a calculated cost for you in that a little bit, right?
Right, for sure. And we see also that Adrian goes down to 0 here.
Yeah, so we know there's a 2K in hand, 2 blockers up. Best case, what, another 2K? And a couple of Otamas that desperately want to apply pressure.
Yeah, I had to talk about the game again when we saw a move be made, so.
Yeah.
And here's attaching a Zoro for a quick 7 here. Now, we do have the 2 choppers down there, so.
And this
Jason
is
feels, it feels like Jason feels like he's mathed this out.
and this could also just be a vibe check, because like if they like you want to block with this, right? Because if you reveal cards in hand, then they make that way easier, right? But if they have like a Vista to get rid of this other blocker, all right, and they're
Yeah, they're talking about it now. He's saying I believe from what I heard, I had the chat very, very low, that he believes he might have mathed differently than he thought.
oh, so you hate to hear that. Like, you've committed so much. You're like, oh, 4 plus
Yeah.
5 is 9, isn't it? Like,
He still has 8 Don here though. And the Bonnie, so it's like he can still. He definitely doesn't know what's in his top 5, right? Like
Yeah.
they just have not done barely any searches this game outside of the opening to Dons.
Now you could. Having only red cards is you have to have like a restand law, right? Like that's the exception. Restand law, swing with 7k Zoro, and then like put everything up on Nami.
Yeah, it's looking like that would be the play.
You still have 2 extra Dom floating that you can use with your Namis as well.
Because essentially you need 3 attacks here. Because you still have the... Oh, we only have 1 chopper out there, my bad. So you really need 2 attacks here to actually do some damage. We need to see those 2 cards really just be left in hand here. Because if he's able to out-combo once, the odds are not looking good.
I mean,
by
this
me
is...
saying out combo and combo all the time, you can tell my friends play DB.
I was literally about to say the same thing, but I'm like, nah, he probably knows that I know. Like, it's such a... Bandai does a wonderful job at having the same words mean different things in different games, and it's so tricky. But the things that I get caught up in a lot are, what are the terminology for, lack of a better words, tapping and untapping a card, right? In this game, it's resting and switch to active. There's suspend and unsuspend should probably be the de facto, but it's unfortunately not.
Yeah, like all my friends who play this game came from DBS, and I've really just taken all the terms.
Yeah,
because I hear it so much.
yeah, and then it's gonna get doubled down when Fusion Warrior gets out, because is combo. Combo is the correct term for that. So we get that vernacular back. Oh, we do have restand law. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Do it. All right. So we haven't used either Nami effect. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah,
He hasn't even Nami yet?
No. So you can put 2 underneath, but I think you have to... That blocker really messes things up. Because again, you have to have at least 2 7k swings, and see if they have
2k 1k gets out of it though.
Yeah, but I think you have to do this.
7-7.
Yeah,
is what we're looking at, I believe.
7-7, and then if
8-7-7. 8-7 is what it would be. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So one can do.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point though.
No, it doesn't. There's no better math here.
And here's like the thing too, and this is a little bit of like the webcam exclusivity. Adrian could be sweating his pants off. He's looking at like a 2k and a 1-drop blocker chopper, right? He's like, this is not a difficult decision looking at my hand, but we gotta respect it still. All right, so that's just 7.
Yeah, I just can't. I mean, I think this is where like you've already decided what you're.
Oh yeah, you've got it.
Yep, and he's got it.
All right, so I mean that does give you the freedom of saying I only need to put, an extra 2 on Bonnie or on Nami, because I know it will. You have to block, and I can attack like my Otama into your Nami and get rid of it. Give you less swings, but and you do have the luxury of 1 life.
Yeah, and he just said, and I already shambles. Wow.
Yeah. I think you attach 2 on a Nami, swing 5. They have to block. Maybe attach 1 more. Actually, you can just straight up trade Nami's. Or no, you have to 1 into Otama to trade into their Nami, and then just keep the 2 open and see what happens.
He still has Bonnie.
You're right. And I guess it depends if you value them having a block. I mean, the blocker next turn probably won't matter. But you can force them down to 2 cards on board if you want to.
And also, it's not like the 2 Don that him using the Nami ability really mattered, because he played those cards down anyways. And if he doesn't swing with the Nami this turn, it's not like it was gonna do anything anyways. Like, this is fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's realized he can't win the game anymore.
Yeah, the only difference you could have made is, like, you could have forced, if you put one more into the Zoro, you could have forced the fact that we have 5 Don open. You could put 5 on Otama, swing 5k, forcing the block. I don't know if that's the play. But Otama's been swinging this game.
Yeah, and then you would just have to make sure you somehow can get out of 2 swings of 10k.
Mm-hmm.
And now you could take 1 life. That negates that. But he would have to definitely drop a blocker here. He could go fishing with Bonnie for a Capone. Other than that, I don't believe he has many plays here.
No. And again, this is for all of the marbles. First place getting a full box. Second place, or second through fourth, is getting 8 packs from the other box. So, good amount on the line. Oh, we're passing with 5 open.
Wow.
I would not believe Bonnie's in hand at this point. Unless they're so afraid that they only get, like, uncounterable stuff in hand.
Unless he feels he just needs that combo that bad. Yeah. That would... Well, he has Radical Beam in hand and Bonnie, I believe. I believe those are his 2 cards. So he's essentially saying you're going to do 10-10 and my 1 life is...
good enough.
A combo card. I mean, right? That's what he's hoping for is here. But now that I see this play, I'm wondering if I can spread it out as Law.
Yeah, because you might be able to make some weird 6k swings that they have to, like, answer, but... Let's see. Is it Otama in hand? Okay. Yeah, because we bounced back Otama for Trafalgar Law, right? And the other card's Bonnie. So I think that might be right. We're just hoping for Rad Beam in life at this point. I don't... What found Rad Beam? Because I don't know if it's there.
I just thought I saw Rad Beam in his hand.
Okay. So that might have...
No.
That might have been incorrect then.
I thought when he flashed his hand up, we saw it, but Otama Bonnie is correct. Yeah, someone in the chat said I thought we saw it too. Yeah, it looked like it, but going back, he did pick up the Tama.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Bonnie's still in hand.
Yeah, unless it's Otama and Rad Beam, right? But I don't know. Like, I might be more inclined to that, because if Bonnie was in that hand, I would have at least gone searching.
Yeah, it'd be hard pressed to leave 5 Donna.
Yeah, but I think their worry is that if you whiff or the only thing you hit is the 5-drop Law, that card's useless in hand in this spot. It's better to keep the Bonnie in hand. I will say I would have liked to instead see 5-drop Nami swing in and then the Otama to clear up the Nami. I think that would have been better, because you'd be 1 Dawn left and they'd have at least 1 less card on board to potentially swing with. So and this game has so much back and forth. I can swear one person's winning and then they lose the next turn. It's
for sure.
It's absurd how much swing this game has in general.
Trying to look at the chat, see what people think here. Zarlin, isn't that Jimmy Sherman?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Did he join the chat?
Jimmy, feel free to dox yourself if you want. Yes, it is. All right, doxed complete.
Hi, Garrett.
I'm pretty good with faces. I won't claim to be very good at names. Outside of, ironically, I'm good at names if it's only in text form, Like, so on my website, I'm like, oh, someone will say I'm this name. Oh, I think I remember inputting your name on my website for this, right? But so many people have like 3 names. Like, oh, here's my real name, but then also here's my Discord tag. But on Twitch, I'm on this. I'm like, I can.
Yeah.
That's asking for a lot.
We're in a Discord group of some Florida players, and I recognize that name. We're gonna see this take a minute here.
They don't got many minutes.
No, they do not.
The
They
years.
don't have many more turns either, though.
Yeah, the year's 2001. You accidentally left your phone on a call. You don't have any minutes left. That wasn't very funny. I'll admit to it.
Nami for 6K here.
I mean, this will eat the 2K. Okay, there's the Otama. And now I think we just swing 5K. No, you just swing 5K. Unless we know that card, right? Okay, it must be Bonnie. It must be Bonnie then. All right, is there Rad Beam in that hand? No, double Bonnie. Okay, no Rad Beam existed.
Yeah.
All right. There it is.
They just said to each other, that was one of the most grindy games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah. For both players. And looking at top 5 to see what they would have found. They would have found a beige out the top 5. Oh, that's really unfortunate. That would have made the whole difference.